Welcome back. This is Katie talking about gifting experiences instead of gifts for the holidays. And I wanted to touch on really quick, I'm creating a PDF right now for uh, travel packing hacks. And in it, it's going to include some great ideas of things to pack. I'm going to also include some links, which I hope will be helpful for you picking any gifts for your traveling friends, family, kids, parents, anyone who's going on travels soon. Hopefully, this will help you get ideas of gifts to give them for the holidays. So, I'm going to have that PDF out soon. It'll be on my stand store. I also have been putting together some one on one travel clarity calls. I've been noticing a lot of people, especially women in their retirement age, have been asking me a lot of questions about where to go, what to do, how to get there. And so I'm putting together these one-on-one clarity calls to really answer all those questions for people. And eventually I'm going to create a bundle too, where we can do like three one-on-one coaching calls where we can have a call to really get what you want decided, and then like how to do it on the second call, like booking everything. And then the third call will kind of be any sort of support you need, either whether it's like right before the trip or during the trip. So I'm really excited to be launching those, and you can find them on the stand store. So, as I said, today we're talking about budget for gifting experiences for the holidays. So I know not a lot of people have a huge budget, right? And this way, it's going to look different for a lot of people. Some people have an unlimited budget, and I get that. So you could literally gift your family the gift of like 6 months in the Bahamas, and that's great. And I love that for you. So please know that this chat might not exactly be about you because I'm going to talk to people who need a little more budget friendly ideas. Um, so I want you all to know that like experiences don't have to look like this big extravagant trip. It can be literally doing a day trip. Like I said, I'm from Montana, so you could drive 2 hours away and experience a different town, a different aesthetic, a different vibe just by being in a different town than what you're from. So one thing that I really want you to think about is like, okay, what's when you start thinking about budget, it's like, okay, how many people are we talking about? Are we talking about a family of five? Or are we talking about, like, for me, my mother or my father, a person of one? So, um, what does that look like? What would my mom like to do? What would my dad like to do? What my mom would like to do is way different than what my dad would like to do. And so, sorry, so my parents are divorced. So that's why I'm talking about them as like two separate entities and not taking them together. So, um, for my dad, he would love just a road trip somewhere. So, he has these great like old cars in the garage, and I was thinking for this summer, I would gift him like, I don't know, a week driving somewhere. We can pick the location, but like the caveat is that we have to take one of his old cars. So it kind of creates this something for him to look forward to, and also a project. So he's been meaning to get these cars ready for years because they need to be driven. They're kind of just sitting there, not being driven. So I feel like this gives him a project to start working on, something to look forward to. And then I can start planning like the experience, where we're going to go, what we're going to do while we're there, and book the accommodations and things like that. Because he's not great at booking accommodations. He thinks we're living in the 1970s and we can just drive up to any old hotel and it'll be $10 a night. So, anyway, I digress. Back to budget. So his budget is a lot different than, say, a budget for a gift for my mother, because my mother wants to travel the freaking world. So she would love it if we went to like Paris for a month. and that budget looks a lot different from a road trip for a week. So, thinking about those things, you really need to think about what it is you want to gift and what your budget is. And then you can just formulate it around that. Like, if you have a really small budget, it could be something you just do for a day. Like, I'm talking about Montana, Wyoming, like it's more rural, so you kind of have to drive to the destination. But like thinking back to something I love doing in Montana is skiing in the winter. So instead of, trying to take the family on this like ski day in one of the big resorts like Big Mountain or Big Sky, I would love to just take everyone. When I say the family, I mean like whoever still skis in my family, like my brother, my sister, my nephews, uh, mom and dad. I feel like probably not a good idea to take them skiing anymore. But anyway, thinking about a budget, um, find something super close. You might have a ski hill that's like literally right outside your town. It might be a couple hours away. So there might be one you can just go to for the day. So you got to think about gas money. You could save money by packing food, packing a cooler. Um, if you're gonna stay the night somewhere, but you're worried about like hotel rates and food, and gas, it's like try to pick maybe an Airbnb where like you can all stay in one house or apartment, condo. And then again, like I said, pack your food, and then that way you can cook your meals so you're not spending a bunch of money on eating out. There are, you know, lower cost items for eating out. If you treat everyone to like a pizza dinner, something like that, you can usually fit that into a budget. But still, if you just don't want to spend money, if you don't want to spend a lot of money on like eating out, then that could be one area you could save in by packing food. Um, Now, when you talk about skiing, I'm going to go back to skiing. I know we talked about a ton of different experiences, but I'm just going to focus on this one because skiing is very expensive these days. You're talking, let's say you drive there. So you're talking about gas to get there. If you're staying the night, you're talking about an accommodation, lift tickets. If you don't already have equipment, you have rental gear. Um, you might have to buy someone a lesson. You might have to pay for parking. Like that's a lot of expenses. So one thing to cut all those expenses, again, is to just do a day trip instead of a weekend. Drive there super early in the morning, spend the whole day skiing, drive back in the evening. That'll save you an accommodation bill, right? Um, Lift tickets, like I said, can be expensive. So that's why I'm saying pick some of these like mom and pop resorts. They might not be as big, there might not be as many runs, it might not be as challenging, it might be more challenging depending on the ski area. But I've actually had the I've been blessed to try some really small ski areas actually in Idaho. Uh, and yeah, it's like two chairlifts and maybe 10 runs, but especially when you have kids and like, especially younger kids, they don't know that there's only 10 runs on the mountain. All they know is that they're out in the snow, they're with you, they're having fun, um, and it's super enjoyable. Uh, what was another thing I was gonna say? One thing about gear, so whether it's skiing or it's like camping, maybe you're trying to plan maybe you're gifting an experience, but it's not going to happen till the summer, and you're thinking about doing like biking or hiking in like Moab or Yellowstone, Grand Teton National Park, uh, Zion, hiking, you need hiking shoes. You might need a little hiking backpack, like we're talking day pack, not like overnight, unless you plan to like overnight camp. And then that's a whole other packing list you need to consider. But if you want to keep it fairly condensed, fairly easy, not easy, but gosh, I lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry. Uh, if you're doing these summer experiences, like um borrowing gear from friends. That's what I was gonna say. So whether it's skiing or it's like hiking or biking, maybe not hiking. I feel like you should buy your own hiking shoes, but like some of that gear you can borrow from your friends, jackets, pants, ski boots are a bit hard. You might want to rent your own, just because like a lot of people are getting like customized footbeds now. So, if I'm 5'3" and my friend's 6 foot, I probably don't want to borrow her skis because they're probably way too big for me. But there are certain things you can borrow from friends. You can rent, from like your hometown shop as opposed to from the mountain. That might cut expenses because sometimes rentals at the mountain are more expensive. If you're doing, I know I cut to summer activities, but we're back to skiing. If you're doing lessons, sometimes you can buy a package that includes like the lift ticket, the lesson, and the rental. And oftentimes they'll discount it, so that's really good. And then another thing to look into, if you're people who aren't just doing like an experience for the weekend, like trying skiing, or maybe you want to keep skiing going, like keep your family doing it for more than just one weekend. There's certain passes you can get now that involve like many ski hills. So there's the Icon Pass, there's the Epic Pass. Um, so even if you're local to one town and your ski hill, um, let's say is included in the Icon Pass, and this is what's great is some of these passes include like a season pass at some of the mom and pop areas or the local areas, and then you get like a week long at this place or a week long at that place. But just keep in mind there's blackout dates. So, and then picking the pass is kind of again up to your budget, how much you're gonna travel to different places. Like if you don't have a big budget and you can only stay local, like, but let's say that Icon Pass is, I'm totally making this up. I haven't even looked at what they cost this year, but you could get one that's like $700 and your local ski hill is a season pass. So that might be cheaper than actually getting a season pass at like, or I'm sorry, that might be cheaper than getting like a 3-day lift ticket at some of these bigger resorts. And I'm not joking right about that. So that's always something to look into. If your budget's a bit higher and you can afford a little bit more and you think you're going to be skiing a bit more than just like one weekend or a few weekends in the year. Um, Yeah, but honestly, sometimes it's just the small experiences. Like when I was living in Wyoming, I was actually in Jackson, and my mom came to visit for 1 week. And like one of the days we went out and did the horse, I almost said horseback riding. We did the horse carriages that take you out onto the elk refuge. And that was such a great experience. It was freaking cold. I can't remember how much money it cost, but it maybe was like a 2, 3 hour experience, but my mom loved it. So that's a great gift to give someone, depending where you live. Um, Even just taking someone for a scenic drive, Um, I know it sounds weird, but sometimes just offering your family, your friends, your kids, like just a day of your time and you're gonna drive them somewhere and take pictures. Like, you know, as a kid, I would love stuff like that, like going on like just a day drive and taking pictures and maybe finding a waterfall and um, stuff like that. There's places that have like ice skating rinks set up in the winter. Some places have like these cool, it's like you snow tube, like you tube down like a snow hill. Um, and there's some you pay for and there's some that are free. Like you just need a tube. And again, like if you don't have the money to even buy a tube, like you can borrow those from friends. Um, Maybe even rent one. I don't know if you can rent one. I know the places that you pay for tubing, they just you use their tubes. But yeah, it's not about spending money, guys. It's about having an experience with your friends, with your family, with your loved ones. Um, that might cost money, that might not, but it's more about spending time with people than buying gifts for them. Because I noticed that again, we tend to buy all these gifts and pack them under the tree, and we celebrate on one day of the year and then it's done. And it's like giving the gift of an experience or a trip or something, it gives people something to look forward to. And it also gives them your time. And that's, I think, what most people are looking for is just spending time with you. So even if it's not this elaborate, expensive vacation, um, just your being with you and experience something cool at the same time is such a gift in and of itself. And so anything you want to build, um, anything you want to build, any experience you want to have, you can do it. You can build it at any price point. You really can. And again, just it's all about having an experience with your loved ones and being together on the holidays and after, planning something for after. So that's why I think it's really important to give the gift of experiences. Um, yeah, talk to you next time.